ये क्या चीज़ है?
The
अजीब सी
first
मामला।
thing the dashcam catches is the bell. Not a church bell, not a wind chime. A low metallic ring that doesn't belong in the middle of a forest at midnight. It comes in through the open crack of a driver's window, like a warning you can hear but not interpret. One clean note, then another, soft, patient, like something moving just outside the reach of the headlights. The road is a single-lane dirt track, ribboning between dark pines. No shoulder, no guardrail, just packed earth, wet leaves, and drop-offs that disappear into blackness. The headlights carve a narrow tunnel, and beyond that tunnel, the woods feel endless, watching. He is alone, until he isn't. At 12:07 a.m., the beam lands on a pale shape standing in the road. A child, small, thin, barely more than a silhouette until the car rolls closer and the fog lifts for half a second, just enough to show a face that makes the driver's hands tighten around the wheel. The child looks wrong, not in a monstrous way, not in a movie makeup way, wrong in the way a smile can be wrong when it shows up where grief should be. Behind the child, cows drift into view. 3, then 5, then more. Big bodies moving slow, calm, as if they own the road. Some have bells around their necks, and every time they shift, the metal rings again, gentle and steady. And the child raises one hand, palm out, a clean stop gesture. Then the child points, sharp, urgent, back the way the driver came. Do not come this way. Do not go forward. Turn around. If you saw a child in the middle of a forest road at midnight, alone, with livestock, would you stop and get out? Would you call for help? Or would you reverse immediately and never look back? Tell me what you'd do, because his choice is the reason this story exists at all. Now rewind, because the frightening part isn't what appears in the headlights. It's what the headlights almost reveal. His name is Daniel Mercer, and before that night he was the kind of person who prided himself on rational explanations. 36, quiet voice, a habit of checking weather radar before he drove anywhere. The kind of driver who stops for stranded animals, who carries a flashlight and a first aid kit because it's stupid not to. He wasn't chasing a thrill. He wasn't looking for ghosts. He was doing what so many people do when life squeezes them too hard. Taking a shortcut he'd been warned about because he wanted to get home faster than his fear wanted him to. The call came at 11:32 p.m. His father, a number he almost didn't answer because it was late, and his dad had a way of calling at the worst times. But when Daniel picked up, he didn't hear the usual gruff hello. He heard breathing, not panicked, not dramatic, just thin, as if the man on the other end was trying to make his lungs remember how to work. "Danny," his father said, and the old nickname did something to Daniel's chest. "I need you to come." "What's wrong?" Daniel asked. A pause, then, "I can't find the papers." "What papers?" "The ones that say, the road. The road isn't safe." Daniel sat up in bed. His apartment was quiet, a single streetlight spilling pale bars across the floor. "Dad, what are you talking about?" His father swallowed. Daniel could hear it. "I promised I would tell you. I promised, but I can't find the papers." "Okay," Daniel said, keeping his voice calm the way you do with someone you love and don't want to scare. "Where are you?" His father lived outside a small town called Briar Glen, in a house that sat close to the trees. Daniel grew up there. He knew every shortcut, every creek crossing, every back road kids used when they wanted to feel like the world belonged to them. But there was one road his father always told him not to take. Fawn Ridge Road. They called it a road. It was barely a path, an old forest access line that cut through the hills and reconnected with the highway on the other side. During the day, locals used it for hunting, for checking cattle, for getting to cabins. At night, most people avoided it. Daniel's father used to say, "That road doesn't forgive mistakes." Daniel asked again. "What's wrong?" His father's voice dropped. "I saw the lights again." Daniel's spine tightened. "What lights?" A long pause. Then his father said, almost like he was ashamed to speak it, "The bells." Daniel looked at the clock. 11:10 on 39 p.m. He should have told his father to go back to bed. He should have called a neighbor. He should have waited until morning. Instead, he swung his legs out of bed and grabbed his keys. Because when someone who raised you sounds afraid, your body moves before your mind finishes arguing. The drive out of the city is easy. Streetlights, gas stations, the comforting glow of other cars. But as Daniel nears Briar Glen, the world empties. Cell. Service drops from 4 bars to 2, then to 1, then to nothing at all. His phone becomes a blank rectangle that can't help him. The highway narrows, then gives way to county roads, and the county roads give way to gravel, and the gravel gives way to dirt. By the time he reaches the turnoff for Fawn Ridge, the trees have swallowed the stars. Fog lies low in the dips like spilled milk. The headlights paint it silver, and then it disappears, moving in lazy sheets across the road. Daniel slows at the entrance. A wooden sign, half-rotted, leans in the weeds. Fawn Ridge Access, no winter maintenance. And beneath it, someone has spray-painted something older than the paint itself. Turn back. Daniel's hands hover on the steering wheel. The rational part of him lists options. The emotional part hears his father's thin breathing. He turns onto Fawn Ridge. The tires crunch over wet gravel, then thud onto packed earth. His car's suspension complains. Branches arch overhead, forming a tunnel. The road is narrow enough that if another vehicle appears, one of them will have to back up for a long time. Daniel drives with both hands on the wheel. Low beams, no music, just the steady hush of his engine and the occasional tick of gravel under the chassis. At 11:58 p.m., he passes the first marker, an orange reflector nailed to a tree. At 12:04 a.m., he crosses a shallow wash where water runs over the road, thin and shining like oil. At 12:06 a.m., his headlights catch movement on the right, a shape slipping behind trees. Daniel's foot lifts off the gas. He tells himself it's a deer, a raccoon, anything normal. And then he hears it. A bell, one clear metallic ring. He freezes, one hand tightening on the wheel, the other reaching instinctively toward his phone. Even though he knows there's no service, even though muscle memory doesn't care. Another bell rings, then another, not random, not jangling, measured, spaced, as if something is. Walking. Daniel's eyes scan the road ahead, and the fog thins for a moment, and the headlights reveal what should not be there. Cows, not 1 or 2. A small herd spreading across the lane, heavy bodies moving slow. Their hides gleam wet in the light. Steam drifts from their nostrils. Some have bells around their necks, old brass bells that swing gently and ring soft with each step. Daniel hits the brakes. His car stops 15 feet from the closest animal. He sits perfectly still, listening to his own heartbeat. Cows don't belong here. Not this deep, not at this hour, not on a road that cuts through public forest land. And then he sees the child. The child steps into the beam from behind the herd like they're part of the same shape, the same story. Small figure, hood up, clothing dark and damp, bare hands. The child looks straight at Daniel, and Daniel has a strange, immediate thought, one that makes no logical sense, but arrives fully formed anyway. This kid isn't lost. This kid is waiting. The child raises one hand, palm out. Stop. Daniel doesn't move. He doesn't honk. He doesn't open his door. He just stares, because every instinct he has is suddenly split in half. One side says, child, danger, help. The other side says, something is wrong. Something is deeply wrong. The cows shift, bells ringing softly. The child points behind Daniel, sharp and urgent. back the way Daniel came. The gesture is clear. Do not come this way. Daniel's mouth opens, but his voice doesn't work. He tries anyway. "Hey," he says, hoarse. "Are you okay?" The child doesn't answer. The child points again. And for a second, Daniel sees the child's face in the headlights with brutal clarity. Pale skin, eyes wide and too reflective, like they're catching the light in a way human eyes shouldn't. And an expression that isn't fear, it's insistence, like the child is holding back a door with one hand. Daniel swallows. He glances at the cows. They aren't spooked. They aren't even watching him. Most are watching the trees, as if the trees are where the real problem lives. Then Daniel notices something else. The silence. No insects, no frogs, no distant night sounds. The forest has gone quiet in a way he's only experienced once before. During a wildfire, when animals stop making noise because they're listening for danger. Daniel's hands grip the wheel. He shifts into reverse. The moment his backup lights flash, the cows react. Not startled, but purposeful. They move closer to the center of the road, tightening their bodies into a more solid barrier. The child's hand stays raised. Stop. Daniel's breath catches. He isn't being blocked from going forward. He is being blocked from leaving. And that realization crawls up his spine like cold water. Daniel rolls the window down further. "Listen," he says, trying to keep his voice gentle. "I'm not going to hurt you." "Do you need help? Where are your parents?" The child's head tilts slightly. Then, in a voice so quiet, Daniel almost doesn't hear it, the child says one word. Not loud, not dramatic, just a thread of sound that makes Daniel's blood run cold. "Behind!" Daniel's eyes flick to his rearview mirror. At first, he sees nothing, just darkness and fog. Then the fog shifts, and a shape resolves. A vehicle, no headlights, no running lights. Just a dark silhouette sitting in the road behind him, like it has always been there. Daniel's throat tightens. He didn't see it when he turned onto Fawn Ridge. He didn't see it in his mirrors. He didn't hear an engine. It is simply there. And as Daniel watches, it inches forward, slowly, quietly, like it doesn't want to be heard. The child's palm stays raised, not toward Daniel now, but toward that unseen approach. A warning, a stop sign, a barrier made of flesh and stubbornness. Daniel's mind scrambles. Poachers, hunters, someone messing around, someone looking for trouble. But who drives a road like this at midnight with no lights? Who creeps toward a stopped car in the fog? Daniel's foot slams the brake harder, even though he's already stopped. He flicks his high beams. The fog explodes white, then thins, and for a fraction of a second, he sees the vehicle behind him clearly. A truck, old, mud-caked, no plates on the front, and something in the passenger seat, long and pale, like a piece of fabric hanging, or an arm resting wrong. Daniel's stomach turns. The truck's engine doesn't rev. It doesn't accelerate. It simply keeps rolling forward, steady and patient. Daniel looks back to the child. The child's expression has changed. Not fear, pity, like this has happened before, and the child hates that Daniel is about to learn it. The cows shift, bells ringing softly, and Daniel realizes what they're doing. They're not just blocking the road. They're blocking the truck. They're between Daniel and whatever is approaching. The child points to the right side of the road now, toward the ditch, toward a narrow gap between trees where the forest looks slightly thinner. A way out, not the road, the shoulder. Daniel's eyes widen. "You want me to drive off?" The child nods once. Daniel's mind screams that it's insane, that he'll get stuck, that he'll crash into a tree. But the truck behind him is closer now, and he still can't hear it. That's what breaks him. Engines make noise. Tires make noise. This truck is silent. Daniel turns the wheel hard right. He eases his foot onto the gas, and his car lurches off the packed dirt road into wet grass. Branches scrape the side panels. The wheels spin for a heartbeat, then catch, climbing over roots. Daniel keeps going, forcing the car through the narrow space, heart hammering, breath loud in his own ears. In the rearview mirror, he sees the road, again. The cows remain across it, a living barricade. The child stands among them, hands still raised, and the truck rolls up, slow, silent. It stops. For a second, everything is still. Then the truck's driver-side door opens. Daniel sees no person step out, just darkness spilling from inside the cab. The cows tense. The bells ring once, and the child, still facing the truck, lowers their hand and points into the trees, not toward Daniel, toward the forest, as if telling whatever is in that truck where to go. Daniel's skin crawls. He doesn't wait to understand. He pushes his car forward through the trees until the road is gone, until the fog is swallowed by branches, until the only thing he can see is the thin tunnel his headlights carve through wet leaves. He drives for what feels like forever, but is probably only 2 minutes. Then the forest opens into a rough clearing, an old logging cut, muddy and rutted. Daniel stops. His hands shake so hard the steering wheel vibrates. He kills the engine and listens. At first, nothing. Then faintly, from the direction of the road, a bell rings. Once, then silence. Daniel sits in the dark with his headlights off, heart pounding, telling himself he's imagining things, telling himself he's overreacting, telling himself. A new sound cuts through his thoughts, a low, distant splash, then another, like something heavy moving through water. Daniel's breath catches. He remembers the shallow wash he crossed earlier, the way the water ran over the road, the way his tires hissed. He remembers his father's voice. I saw the lights again, and the word he used. The bells. Daniel turns his car around in the clearing and looks for a way back to town that doesn't involve Fawn Ridge. His phone is useless. The GPS spins like it's drunk. He drives slowly, finding an old service trail that eventually reconnects with a paved road. By the time he reaches Briar Glen, dawn is still far away. The town looks asleep, unaware. Daniel's father's house sits dark. Daniel parks in the driveway and runs up the steps, pounding on the door. No answer. He tries the knob. Unlocked. He pushes inside. The house smells like stale coffee and old paper. The living room is dim, lit only by a nightlight in the hallway. Dad? Daniel calls. A shuffling sound. His father appears at the end of the hall in pajamas, eyes watery, face pale. When he sees Daniel, his shoulders sag like someone finally lifted a weight. You came, his father whispers. Daniel grips him by the shoulders. What's going on? His father looks past Daniel, out the window, toward the trees. You took the ridge. Daniel's mouth goes dry. How do you know? His father's eyes close briefly, like he's hearing something only he can hear. Because you're alive. Daniel's heart stutters. Dad. What? His father swallows. The child stopped. You. Daniel freezes. His father opens his eyes and looks at Daniel with a kind of sadness that feels older than both of them. You saw him, he says, not a question. Daniel's voice comes out thin. Who is he? His father's gaze drops to the floor. His hands tremble. I prayed you'd never have to see. Daniel steps back slowly, like the hallway has turned into a cliff edge. Dad, tell me. His father shakes his head once. Then he walks to a cabinet in the living room, an old wooden thing that always held junk mail and keys, and he pulls out a folder. The folder is thin, too thin to carry the weight in his hands. He sets it on the table and slides it toward Daniel, like he's sliding a confession. Inside are photocopies, old newspaper clippings, a missing person flyer, a photo. Daniel's eyes land on the photo and his stomach drops. The child. Same face, same wide reflective eyes. In the photo, the child smiles slightly, arm around a cow's neck. A bell hangs from the animal's collar, caught mid-swing. The headline above the photo reads, "Local boy missing after storm. Search underway on Fawn Ridge, 7 years ago." The name on the flyer is Owen Rourke, age 10. Last seen, Fawn Ridge Road. Daniel's fingers go numb. He's dead. His father doesn't answer directly. He stares at the table like it's safer than looking at Daniel. "He went missing," his father says quietly. "And the cows came home without him." Daniel's voice shakes. "Why was he out there at midnight?" His father's jaw tightens. "Because he was braver than the men who should have been." Daniel's mind flashes back to the truck. Silent, dark, moving without lights. "What was that truck?" Daniel whispers. His father's eyes flick to Daniel, then away. "That's why I called you," he says. "Because I saw it again. I saw it in the trees. I heard the bells. And I knew it meant the ridge was waking up." Daniel's hands press flat on the table. "You're talking like the road is alive." His father's voice cracks. "That road has a memory." Daniel stands there, folder in his hands, trying to make the world fit into something that makes sense. A missing boy, cows, bells, a silent truck, and then the child, Owen, standing in the road at midnight, stopping him. Not just stopping him, saving him. Daniel flips through the clippings. Search teams, volunteers, dogs, helicopters. No body found, no car found, just the boy's boot, discovered near the creek. And one line buried in a later article, smaller than the rest. Unofficial reports suggest unauthorized vehicles seen in area. Daniel looks up sharply. "Unauthorized vehicles?" His father's lips press together. "People saw things," he says. "People talked, then people stopped talking." Daniel's pulse pounds. "Why?" His father's gaze finally meets Daniel's, and in that look is something heavy, something that doesn't fit neatly into old age or confusion. Guilt. "Because I told them to," his father whispers. The room seems to shrink. Daniel's voice is barely a sound. "You, what?" His father's hands curl into fists. "I was a deputy," he says. "Your mother was pregnant with you. I was trying to keep my job, keep the peace, keep things from turning into chaos." Daniel's mouth feels dry. "You covered it up." His father shakes his head, fast, desperate. "Not like that. Not for them. I thought I was protecting this town. I thought if we said nothing, it would go away." Daniel feels like the floor has shifted under him. What would go away? His father swallows hard. "The mine." Daniel blinks. "What mine?" His father exhales like the word is poison. "There's an old mine shaft off Fawn Ridge," he says. "Collapsed on paper, sealed off officially, but people kept using it, storing things, doing things they didn't want anyone to see." Daniel's mind races. "Who?" His father's voice lowers. "Men with badges," he says. "Men who didn't want to lose what they had." Daniel's stomach turns. He sees the silent truck again in his mind, the way it rolled forward like it wasn't fully part of the world. He whispers, "Owen saw something." His father nods once, small and broken. "He heard vehicles on the ridge," he says. "He went out with the cows to bring them in before the storm, and he saw them. He tried to stop them." Daniel's voice rises, anger cracking through fear. "He was 10. His father's eyes fill. "I know." Daniel stands there, staring at the photo of Owen with the cow, the bell frozen mid-swing. Then he asks the question that makes his father flinch. "Why would he still be out there?" His father looks away. "Because no one listened," he says. "Because no one found him. Because the people who should have answered didn't." Daniel's breath trembles. He saved me tonight. His father's voice is hoarse. That's what he does, he whispers. He stops cars. Daniel shakes his head slowly. That's impossible. His father gives a sad laugh that isn't humor. So is a silent truck with no lights on a road no one uses, he says. But you saw it. Daniel's hands tighten around the folder. He thinks about going to the sheriff. Then he thinks about what his father said, men with badges. And he realizes the fear in his father's voice isn't only supernatural. It's political, it's human. Daniel looks at his father. If I go back out there, he says, will he stop me? His father's face twists. He might, he says, if he thinks you won't come back. Daniel's jaw sets. Then I'll go in daylight. His father grabs his wrist. His grip is surprisingly strong. Danny, he whispers, if you go looking for what's down there, you might find something that won't let you leave. Daniel's eyes hold his father's. Something already tried. His father releases him slowly, like he knows the fight is lost. At 7:13 a.m., Daniel is at the edge of town, buying supplies. Flashlight batteries, a tow strap, a shovel, rope. Not because he thinks he's going to fight a ghost, because he knows the forest doesn't care about belief, and because the part of him that survived last night is now convinced survival came with a debt. He drives out as the sun climbs, thin and pale behind clouds. The world looks different in daylight, less haunted, more ordinary. But the closer Daniel gets to Fawn Ridge, the more the ordinary peels away. The air cools, the trees thicken, and when he reaches the turnoff, the sign is still there. Turn back. Only now Daniel notices something he didn't see last night. Old scratches carved into the wood beneath the paint. Not random, letters, small, childlike. O-W-E-N. Daniel's throat tightens. He turns onto the road again. This time, he doesn't hear bells, but he sees evidence, fresh tire tracks in the mud, deep treads, heavy vehicle. Not just one set, several. And alongside those tracks, hoofprints, cows. Daniel drives slowly, scanning. At the shallow wash, the water is higher now in daylight, running faster. And on the opposite bank, caught on a branch like it was tossed there, is a strip of cloth. Dark, wet. Daniel pulls over and steps out. The forest air hits him full. Pine, wet earth, cold water. He retrieves the cloth. It's a piece of a child's raincoat, and on the inside collar, stitched faintly, is a name. Owen. Daniel's skin prickles. He looks around. The forest is quiet, but not the dead silence of last night. Birds chatter. Leaves stir. Still, something feels watchful, like the trees remember the night. Daniel keeps driving. He reaches the spot where he veered off, into the trees the night before, and he finds the marks. Broken branches, tire tracks in grass, a little torn strip of bark on a trunk where his car scraped. He follows the road another mile. 2. Then he sees something ahead that makes him stop. A section of the road has collapsed. Not just washed out, gone. The earth has fallen away into a sinkhole where the creek undercut it. The gap is wide enough to swallow a vehicle. Mud slides down into black water below, and broken tree roots hang like snapped tendons. If Daniel had continued last night, he closes his eyes briefly. The child didn't just stop him from meeting a truck. The child stopped him from driving into the earth. Daniel stands at the edge, staring down, and the wind that rises from the hole is cold and smells like stone. Then he hears it. A bell, one ring, soft, behind him. Daniel spins. The road is empty, but on a tree branch to his left, hanging from a piece of twine like someone placed it there, is a cowbell, old brass, dented and gently swinging, though the air is still. Daniel's throat tightens. He whispers, "Owen?" No answer, but the bell swings once more, then settles. And in that quiet, Daniel hears something else. Faint, distant. An engine. Not close. Far off. But it's there. A vehicle moving somewhere beyond the trees. Daniel's pulse quickens. He pulls out his phone. Still no service. He looks at the bell again, hanging like a sign, and he understands the message without needing words. Daylight doesn't make this road safe. It just makes the danger easier to see. Daniel backs away from the sinkhole and returns to his car. He drives slowly, scanning the tree line. Then he sees it. A barely visible side trail branching off the main road, choked with brush like it hasn't been used in years. But the mud in it is fresh, deep tire marks. Daniel follows the trail. Branches scrape his car, leaves slap the windshield. The path twists, downhill toward the creek. He drives until the trail opens into a clearing, and there, half hidden in the trees, is a structure Daniel has never seen before. A metal gate, rusty, heavy, and around it, a chain with a padlock. Official signage bolted to the gate reads, "Danger, old mine, do not enter." Daniel's breath catches. "The mine," he whispers. He steps out and walks closer. The ground is muddy, churned with tire tracks, recent, deep, heavy. Someone has been here, recently, and on the gate itself, scratched into the metal as if by a nail or a pocket knife, is a small mark, a child's handprint shape, and beneath it, carved letters, D-O-N-T. Daniel swallows hard. The padlock on the chain is new, fresh metal, not rusted like the gate. Someone replaced it. Someone wants it closed. Daniel turns slowly, scanning the clearing. He sees a second trail leading away from the mine gate, heading deeper into the trees. And on the edge of that trail, grazing as calmly as if this is a pasture, stand cows, 6 of them, large, solid, real. Their bells ring softly as they move. Daniel's breath catches. "This is impossible," he whispers. The cows stare at him with dark eyes, unafraid. And among them, partly hidden behind a cow's shoulder, stands a child. Hood up, pale face. Owen. In daylight, he looks even more wrong, not monstrous but out of place, as if he doesn't belong to time. He raises a hand again. "Palm out. Stop." Daniel's voice shakes. "I'm not here to hurt you," he says. Owen's eyes hold his. Then Owen lowers his hand and points, not behind Daniel now, toward the mine gate. Then he points down the second trail, a sequence, mine, trail. Daniel feels cold spread across his skin. "Do you want me to go there?" Daniel whispers. Owen nods once. Daniel's mind screams that it's insane. But another part of him, older, quieter, recognizes the kind of insistence in Owen's. Expression, not a trap, a plea, a child who has been trying to show adults the truth for 7 years. Daniel steps toward the mine gate. The cows shift immediately, bells ringing, bodies moving between Daniel and the trail behind him. Protective, like last night. Daniel reaches the padlock and touches it. Cold metal, new. He looks down and notices something on the mud beneath. A cigarette butt, still damp, not old. Someone was here very recently. Daniel straightens. His heart hammers. He does the rational thing now. He leaves. He drives back to town and goes straight to the one person he thinks might still be clean. An old friend of his mother's, a woman named Sergeant Lila Greaves, now retired, living on the edge of Briar Glen. Lila answers the door with a mug of coffee and a look that says she hasn't had a peaceful morning in years. Daniel doesn't waste time. He shows her the folder, the missing flyer, the new bell, the photos he snapped of the mine, gate. Lila's face tightens as she studies the images. "Where did you get this?" she asks. Daniel tells her. When he finishes, Lila's jaw clenches. "You shouldn't have gone out there alone," she says. Daniel laughs once, hollow. "Yeah," he says. "I figured that out." Lila sets her mug down carefully. "That mine was sealed," she says. "Officially." Unofficially? Daniel asks. Lila's eyes lift to him, and in them he sees something he hates. Recognition. You know, he says. Lila exhales. I tried to know, she says. I tried to dig. Your mother did too. Daniel's throat tightens. My mom? Lila nods. She had suspicions, she says. About Owen, about that road, about the accident stories people kept repeating. Daniel's pulse spikes. What accident? Lila hesitates, then pulls out a small box from a drawer and sets it on the table. Inside are old evidence photos. One shows a truck, mud-caked, headlights off, parked on Fawn Ridge. Another shows a cowbell in the dirt. Another shows a child's boot near water. Daniel's hands shake. That's the truck, he whispers. I saw it last night. Lila's face hardens. People said they saw it 7 years ago too, she says, around the time Owen disappeared. Daniel's voice is thin. Who was driving it? Lila looks away. That's the problem, she says. Daniel leans forward. Tell me. Lila's voice lowers. There are names in this town, she says, that get to decide which questions are allowed. Daniel's anger rises like a flame. A child disappeared, he says. That's not a question. That's a crime. Lila meets his eyes. And if the people involved wear badges, she says quietly, the crime becomes a secret. Daniel's chest tightens. What do we do? Lila's mouth sets. We go back, she says. Together. Now. Before whoever replaced that, Padlock realizes you've been there. They drive out in Lila's old SUV, the kind with mud on the tires, and a radio that still crackles when you turn it on. Daniel's car follows behind like a shadow. The closer they get to Fawn Ridge, the more Daniel feels that old night clinging to the trees, even in daylight. They reach the side trail. They push through. And when they reach the clearing, the cows are there again. Grazing, bells ringing soft. But Owen is not. Daniel's stomach drops. Lila steps out slowly, hand near the holster she still wears out of habit. She studies the mine gate. Her eyes narrow. The padlock, she says. Daniel looks. The padlock is gone. The chain hangs open. Someone has unlocked it. Recently. Lila's face tightens. They're inside, she whispers. Daniel's breath catches. We should call someone. Lila gives him a grim look. And tell them what? She says. That a ghost kid and a herd of cows led us to a... Mine? Daniel swallows. Then what do we do? Lila's voice is low, controlled. We listen, she says. We don't go charging in. We find out what's happening. They move closer. The air near the mine gate is colder, stone breath, damp. From inside the dark opening beyond the gate, they hear something faint. Metal clinking, not a bell. Something heavier. Chain. Daniel's skin prickles. Then, deeper inside, a voice. Male, low, talking, not to them, to someone else. You said it was sealed, the man says, annoyed. Another voice answers, muffled. It was, until someone started snooping. Daniel's throat tightens. Lila's hand signals, stay. They crouch near brush, peering through the open gate. Inside is darkness, but the shaft slopes downward, and Daniel can see faint light deeper in. Flashlights moving. 2 men, maybe 3. Hard to tell. Then Daniel hears a sound that turns his blood cold. A bell, not from the cows outside. From inside the mine, a cowbell ringing deep underground. One of the men curses softly. That damn bell again, he mutters. I thought we threw those away. Lila's eyes widen slightly. She looks at Daniel with a meaning that doesn't need words. Owen's bell. Underground. That's where the truth is. Daniel's heart pounds. He whispers, barely audible. Owen is down there. Lila's jaw clenches. Or what's left of him? She whispers back. Daniel's stomach twists. He fights the urge to rush in, to scream, to fight. But the voices inside are moving. Footsteps on stone. a drag of something heavy, and then a line that makes Daniel's body go cold. "Get it deeper," a man says. "If anyone comes, they can't find it." Lila's eyes harden. She reaches into her pocket and pulls out her phone anyway, lifting it, trying for a signal, as if sheer will might create one. Nothing. She curses silently. Then she looks at Daniel. "We need evidence," she whispers. "Audio, video, something we can take out." Daniel's mind races. He remembers his dashcam. It records even when the car is off, if it has power. He whispers, "My car." Lila nods. "Get it positioned," she murmurs. "Quiet." Daniel backs away and returns to his car, hands shaking, heart hammering. He drives into the clearing slowly and angles his dashcam toward the mine gate, trying to catch the opening, the light, the movement. He kills the engine but leaves the dashcam running. Then he returns to Lila. They crouch again, closer now. And then, like the forest itself has been waiting, the cows shift. They move, not away, toward the mine gate. Their bells ring softly, and their bodies form a loose circle around the opening. A barrier, a warning Daniel's breath catches. The cows aren't random. They're part of this. Then the air changes. The hair on Daniel's arms rises. A cold pressure rolls through the clearing, like a fog without moisture. And there, between two cows, Owen appears, not stepping out, not emerging, just present. Hood up, pale face. His eyes lock onto Daniel. Owen raises one finger and presses it to his lips. Quiet. Then Owen points into the mine. And then Owen points behind Lila and Daniel, toward the trees. Daniel turns his head slightly, and his stomach drops, because between the trunks, barely visible, is the mud-caked truck, parked, silent, no headlights, no plates, watching. Lila sees it too. Her body stiffens. Daniel's pulse pounds. The truck door opens slowly. Still no one steps out, just darkness inside. And then a sound, soft, wet, like boots sinking into mud. A figure moves out, tall, broad shoulders, hood up, face hidden. The figure stands still for a moment, staring at the mine gate. Then the figure starts walking toward it. The cows tense. Their bells ring. Owen's hand rises again. "Stop." The figure doesn't stop. Lila whispers, "We need to leave. Now." Daniel's voice shakes. "What about the mine? The men inside?" Lila's jaw clenches. "If we stay, we die," she says. "And then no one knows anything." Daniel's chest tightens. The figure is closer now, and when it steps into a patch of sunlight, Daniel sees something that makes his blood run cold. The figure's boots are wrong. Old-style rubber boots, like someone wore on a farm 7 years ago. And on the boot, near the ankle, is a smear of dried mud shaped like a handprint. A child's handprint. Daniel's breath catches. He whispers, "That's not..." Owen suddenly points at Daniel, not warning, urgent. Then he points at Daniel's car. Then he points toward the collapsed road section Daniel saw earlier. Daniel doesn't fully understand, but the message hits his gut. The road, washout. The sinkhole. Something is about to happen there. Daniel's mind snaps into one clear thought. Distraction. The sinkhole is a trap. Nature's trap. Owen wants the men to go there, to be stopped, to be exposed. Lila grabs Daniel's sleeve. "Move," she whispers. They back away quickly, staying low, moving toward the cars. The figure near the mine gate stops, head turning slightly as if listening. Then, from inside the mine, a man's voice calls out, sharp. "Hey, someone's out there!" Flashlight beams sweep toward the gate. Panic flares. The figure near the gate turns its head toward the mine opening, then toward the cars. And Daniel feels something he can't explain. A sense that this figure isn't just a person. It's a role, a presence, something that has been repeating the same night for 7 years. Owen's face is calm now, almost sad. He points again, back toward the main road. Go. Daniel and Lila climb into their vehicles. Engines roar to life, loud in the clearing. The figure moves faster now, stepping toward Daniel's car. Lila's SUV lurches forward. Daniel follows, tires kicking mud. As they crash through branches back onto the side trail, Daniel glances in the rearview mirror. The cows remain in place, bells ringing softly, blocking the mine gate. Owen stands among them, hand raised, holding the line. The figure stops at the edge of the clearing, watching them leave. Then it turns back toward the mine gate, as if drawn there, as if the mine is the center of gravity for everything wrong on that ridge. They reach the main road, then speed toward the washout. Daniel's heart pounds. He doesn't know why he's going there. He only knows Owen pointed him there like it mattered. When they reach the sinkhole, Lila brakes hard. They step out. The air is colder here. The earth is unstable. Mud slides down into black water below. And on the opposite side of the washout, half hidden in brush, is something Daniel didn't see earlier. A metal box, like a utility box, or a hidden cache. Lila approaches cautiously. She kneels and wipes mud away. It's not a utility box. It's a sealed evidence case. Law enforcement issue. Lila's face tightens. "No," she whispers. Daniel's breath catches. "What is it?" Lila pries it open. Inside are files in plastic sleeves, photos, a notebook, and a small brass bell. Owen's bell. Lila's hands shake as she flips through. Her face goes pale. "These are case files," she whispers. "Owen's case." Daniel's throat tightens. "Why are they here?" Lila's eyes scan a page and then she whispers a name Daniel recognizes immediately. The current sheriff, signed off on evidence transfers, sealed reports. A note in the margin reads, "Move storage, keep off record." Daniel feels anger surge hot through his chest. "They hid it," he says. Lila's voice is hard. "They buried it," she says. "Literally." Daniel hears an engine behind them. He turns. A truck, mud-caked, silent, rolling toward them with no lights, even in daylight. Daniel's stomach drops. It's here. The figure steps out again, hood up. Lila's hand goes to her holster. Daniel's hands clench. And then, from the tree line, a bell rings. Soft, measured. The cows. Daniel turns his head. On the far side of the washout, the herd stands between trees, watching, bells hanging still, and among them, Owen. He raises his hand again. Stop, not at Daniel, at the figure. The figure slows. For the first time, it hesitates. Lila lifts her phone again. A single bar appears, then two. She doesn't waste it. She calls, and this time, the call connects. Her voice is sharp, controlled. "State Patrol," she says. "This is Sergeant Greaves, retired. I need units to Fawn Ridge. Now, I have evidence of obstruction and..." The figure takes a step forward. Owen's eyes lock onto it. Owen points at the washout, then points at the figure, then points down into the black water. Daniel's breath catches. Owen is directing it, like Owen has been doing for years, redirecting danger into the only place it can't hide. The figure steps closer to the washout edge. Mud crumbles under its boot. Lila keeps talking into the phone, voice urgent. Daniel watches, heart pounding. The figure takes another step, and then the ground gives way. Not dramatic, not cinematic, just physics. Wet earth collapses. The figure drops, arms flailing, grabbing at nothing. A splash. Dark water swallows it. For a second, everything is silent. Then the cow's bells ring once, all together, like a breath released. Lila's voice on the phone is shaking now, but steady. "You need to get here," she says. "Now." Daniel stares at the black water. No surface movement, no hand reaching. Nothing, as if the figure never existed. Then from behind Daniel, a voice, small, close, whispers, "Thank you." Daniel spins. Owen stands there, just a few feet away, closer than he has been the whole time. His face is pale, eyes reflective. but his expression is different now, peaceful. Daniel's throat tightens. "Owen," he whispers. Owen's gaze lifts past Daniel, toward the ridge. "Don't come at night," Owen says softly. Daniel's voice cracks. "I won't." Owen's lips press together. Then he says something that makes Daniel's blood run cold for a different reason. "They told your dad to forget," Owen whispers. "He tried." Daniel's chest tightens. "He called me because he remembered." Owen nods once. Then Owen looks down at the bell in Lila's evidence case. His eyes soften. And in the next blink, like fog thinning, he's gone. Not walking away, not fading theatrically, just absent. The cows shift in the trees, bells ringing softly, then they turn as one and disappear into the forest, bodies swallowed by green. By the time State Patrol arrives, the clearing near the mine is chaos. Uniforms, radios, flashlights, shouting. The mine gate is open. The dashcam footage from Daniel's car catches movement. Men running, a truck parked, flashlights swinging, voices arguing. And in the evidence case from the washout, the files speak louder than any ghost story ever could. Misfiled reports, missing timestamps, photos that were never submitted. A note in the sheriff's handwriting. "Keep this quiet." The truth isn't just that a child appeared on a forest road with cows at midnight. The truth is that Owen wasn't haunting the ridge for fun. He was policing it, doing what the adults refused to do. Stopping cars, redirecting danger, keeping strangers from driving into a sinkhole, into a mine, into a secret. And the most shocking part isn't supernatural at all. It's human. A 10-year-old boy tried to block a road in a storm because he saw something wrong. He did the brave thing. He did the right thing. And the people with power chose silence over rescue. For 7 years, the ridge carried that silence like a curse. Until one night, a man with a dying father in a small town made the wrong shortcut. And a child with cows stepped into his headlights and refused to let him keep driving blind. Daniel visits the ridge once more, weeks later, in daylight, not to chase ghosts, to leave something. He brings a small wooden post and a brass plaque with Owen's name. He drives to the entrance of Fawn Ridge and plants it by the sign. "Turn back." He adds his own words beneath it, carved with a knife. "Listen." He stands there, hands in his jacket pockets, staring into the trees. For a moment, the forest is silent. Then, faintly, far back, deeper than the road should allow, he hears one soft bell ring. Just once, like a goodbye. And Daniel turns around and walks back to his car, because some warnings aren't meant to be solved, they're meant to be obeyed.